Danny Flexon for Seconds Out here with Matchroom head Eddie Hearn. How you doing, Eddie?
Good, mate, yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. Here at the press conference in Liverpool, or the end of the press conference in Liverpool for Tony Bellew, David Haye rematch on Saturday. You seem to have been asked a lot of questions today about Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Is that frustrating at all, given we're trying to promote a different heavyweight fight?
No, I mean, it sort of comes at the end of interviews, really. People ask about this fight and then, oh, and another thing. It's the biggest fight in world boxing, so obviously people want to know about it, people want to talk about it. We have a great fight on Saturday night, and which will build continuously throughout the week. I think one of the problems we had in this fight was because of Haye's withdrawal and his past history, it was almost like the fight's never going to happen. And I'm so glad it has, because my balls are on the line with Tony. Because we looked at other options and I said, no, I believe he will make the fight. I believe he'll work hard to be in the shape of his life. And now we're here. He's finished training, so the fight's on. And now you're starting to see people going, blimey, Bellew Haye this Saturday. Because it seemed like a lifetime away. When we were back in November, December, it got cancelled and it was announced for May 5th. So I'm just pleased it's on, and I expect a really good fight.
Where does this fight sit in the overall heavyweight landscape regarding either one as the winner? What's the next steps?
I don't see this fight as a necessary fight for the heavyweight landscape. I see it as a one-off, really good fight. Like, the first fight was a good fight. Of course, it had the drama of the injury. But I think, like last time, no one gave Bellew a chance. They said, oh, it's a joke fight, he's a cruiserweight, he's 6-1. Now it's like a 50-50. But really, what has changed? I mean, Haye has been injured, but he's not injured this time. He's in great shape. So really, he should have more of a chance in this fight. I just think Tony's confident, he's improving, I think he's underrated. And I just don't see the same Haye. I don't know, like, maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe I just look into his eyes and I think, he used to have, you've been around him before, he used to have this aura about him, when he used to walk to the ring, when he was at press conferences, and I just don't see that anymore. Maybe that's just me reading it that way, but I don't know, I think he's under a huge amount of pressure. He's desperately trying not to bite, which is hard for him, and he knows his career's on the line on Saturday, so it's going to be exciting.
One thing we hadn't seen much of from Haye in the past is allowing other people to speak for him. It was kind of flipped on its head today in that Adam Morley had quite a lot to say. Not much was kind towards the Liverpool audience. And Ismail Salas as well, who's not known for being outspoken, had something to say to his opposite numbers. Why do you think that is? What do you think their motivation is for speaking for Haye?
I think Salas might be under a bit of pressure because he's sort of been brought into the Haymaker camp. And when Haye's career's over, does he still have that same position, if you like?
Because, of course, Linares is not with him anymore either.
He does have Joyce, and he does have a couple of... But Hayes is obviously his big paymaster at the moment.
And is Joyce dependent on Haye?
Yeah, perhaps. I don't think that's why he bit. I just think it's hard not to bite, when you stand up here and you've got a load of people shouting at you. But he just sort of went like that, didn't he, out of nowhere. It's like, listen! And I think... The truth is when someone like Salah says you're going to see the best David Haye you've ever seen, everybody can say that, but he'll know the truth. Maybe Haye is looking unbelievable, sensational, the best ever. I don't believe it. He's very dangerous still. He's a great athlete, and he's still a threat to any world-class heavyweight. Tony Bellew was a world-class cruiserweight coming up, so it's a very dangerous fight. This fight can end at any time, and Haye still carries unbelievable power. So I don't know, Tony's just so relaxed, he's so confident. And in the first fight, I'll be honest, it was about securing Tony's financial future and his kids' futures and maybe their kids' future as well. And I felt like he could win the fight. Now I expect him to win, I really do. I'd be shocked if he didn't win on Saturday. That's the difference. The first fight, I couldn't believe that, I hoped, but when it happened, it was incredible. Now, it's like, let's get this win, and then we'll evaluate things. He's going to get married in the summer, and then we'll look at the future.
Tony's already said he doesn't fancy a fight with Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua, too big and big punchers. Quite fancies a fight with Tyson Fury, who's obviously with a different promoter now and wants some warm-up fights as well, so that's not an imminent possibility. Joseph Parker was talked about previously, but he no longer has a belt. What are the challenges for you as Tony's promoter now to find him a fight after this?
I think when you get to the level that Tony Bellew's at, and that stage in your career, it's not necessarily about belts, it's really about the fights, and the fights that get you up for it. You're now at a stage where you're financially secure, you still have the same motivation to box and train. So it has to be the right fight to sort of tick the boxes. I like the Andre Ward fight, cruiserweight, I've got to say. And I don't really understand when people say, oh, that's a mismatch. Not a cruiserweight, it's not. You know, Tony's going to be 15 stone in a ring, Ward's going to be 13 after, but it's a big, big difference. And Ward's a genius, you know. But I like that fight. Tony likes the winner of Usyk-Gassiev, which is like, I mean, it's an absolute war, but it's a real tough fight for perhaps not as much money. So I don't know. This is just something he has to do. This fight, he don't need the money anymore. You know, he just wants to prove people wrong again. He wants to fight David Haye again in a sick way. He enjoyed the first one, and he thinks he can do a better job this time. And he believes when he does, he'll get the credit that he craves for.
It's interesting what you said about Ward. He was often criticised during his active career for not being a massive draw. Do you think he's become more appreciated in retirement?
I think you've got to respect the talent of Andre Ward. He was never a huge draw. I mean, he had a very smart man behind him that got some unbelievable deals, where he was paid money that he didn't warrant in terms of what was in the pot. But look at him against, you know, even in the Froch fight, the 2 Kovalev fights. But, you know, injuries and a few setbacks probably never got him to the level where he could have been. But, no, he was unified super middleweight champion, unified light heavyweight champion. He probably fancies a little pop at the world title at cruiserweight as well. I don't think you've seen the end of Andre Ward, to be honest.
And now he's a commentator as well. I think there might be an essence of absence making the heart grow fonder. Yeah. I think people maybe miss him a little bit now.
Well, and again, when people start saying, you know what, he was a good fighter, he was, Ward. He's like, why didn't you say that when I was fighting? So maybe you'll see him back. But again, because of the money he earned and he was on, it's going to take a mad deal to bring him back. And I'm not sure the mad deal people are existing in the same way they were.